Finally, time to sit down and make this thing. Let's do this. Hit that intro. Okay, here we go again. A summary of episodes 8 all the way through 13. Okay, let's do this. Episode 8, the German comes in. Yeah, Asuka joins in this episode. Next, episode 9, the one on the tactical benefits of DDR. This one was optional in my watch guide, but if you watch it, you're gonna get that joke. Episode 11, the power goes out. Episode 12, Dragon Ball Z, but with robots. Just look at this, they're fighting a giant starfish. And lastly, episode 13, where Misato's mom, who is also a computer, becomes Skynet. There we go, that's all the episodes summarized. And I want to make one thing clear, because I think this wasn't clear last time. These aren't designed to be... I mean, it's analysis, but I'm just injecting humor in. Because this is mainly for people who, when it comes out on Netflix, are watching it. But also people who are just now watching through it. So yeah, the humor is mainly to keep the interest. So if you're annoyed with it, just bear through it. And if you're here for the humor, good for you, but these aren't going to be my most comedic videos. And the first character that we are going to talk about is Asuka. Sorry about the sound, but she will not leave me alone. I literally put her upstairs at the beginning of this and she walked all the way down. I love you too, but you really need to learn better timing. Asuka. The one reason that I have to have safe search on for this entire video. Granted, for those of you unfamiliar with anime, Asuka is what they call in Japan a tsundere. And the word should be up on screen in just a second. Granted, I'm not going to get into the etymology of this, however, just know the following. I'm assuming most people watching this are familiar with the term already, so I'm going to keep it brief. A tsundere is a character who might or might not have feelings for someone, but takes introversion to the extreme, not being able to admit anything, or even becoming violent if provoked. And Asuka fits this to the T by putting a very sweet exterior, but really being, you know... in case you're wondering, the reason I'm mentioning this is Evangelion did not invent the trope of the tsundere in Japanese anime. However, it did popularize it. If you ask a decent amount of anime fans, for a list of tsunderes, it's very likely Asuka will be on that list somewhere. Along with Taiga from Toradora, if you want another really good example. But that one's played more for comedy. Granted, I'm not saying Asuka's not played for comedy, but... yeah. And Asuka and another character who I'm about to talk about both fit into a niche right now that is something that I don't hear talked a lot about with Evangelion. And that's what it realizes, is that in order to have these dark moments, you have to have light moments as well. And I'll explain that when I talk about... Oh, Kaji. There's more to you than people see. Let's get right into that right now. In a world as straight-laced as Evangelion, you're hard-pressed to find someone like Kaji, who plays a foil to most of the cast in that his main purpose is comedic relief. Unlike Asuka, who serves to kind of advance the plot and a little bit of comedic relief, that's Kaji's only purpose. Kaji shows us what, well, really is normal. Or so we think. I mean, in a world full of giant robots and all that, what really is normal? Let's just be honest. Next, let's get into Ritsuko. Ritsuko is probably the least interesting and least loved character in the series. Well, that's a great way to start it out. Ritsuko is kind of a character who's meant to be hated. In almost every single way, she shows practically no humanity, I guess is a good way to put it, throughout at least what we've seen so far. I mean, granted, stuff like her relationship with her mother and stuff like that is all kind of touched on. However, here's the thing, though. She seems to be completely operating off of science. She plays herself really calculated, and it almost comes off as creepy. Granted, most of the fan base doesn't like her because unlike the other pilots and Masato, she really doesn't have too much of a personality, and I think this was intentional. Okay, so now we have all the characters listed out and all the major stuff talked about. So, let's talk about some of the overall themes and all that. First off, I would say one of the major themes explored here is the relationship between Shinji and Gendo. Episode 12 is kind of when I think this all comes to a head. Granted, these themes were kind of first mentioned in the prologue arc, particularly in the conversations between Ritsuko and Masato. Let's start with the obvious one. Which is from Masato. They were so used to living apart that they cannot live together now. And now let's go into the one that Ritsuko says directly to Shinji. Regarding Rei, she says that Rei is like Shinji's father, not very adept at living. I think this also contains one of the most, how do I say this, important scenes of the show. And that is when they all know this could be their last mission. They all agree to do it. And directly after, when they all go to get ramen. Earlier in the episode, Shinji asked Rei and Asuka why they pilot the Evas. And then Shinji gives his answer at the end of the episode, which is very revealing about him as a character. Shinji says he pilots Unit 1 to receive praise from his father. Granted, while this seems minor, this is a very important detail about Shinji's character, and this will be elaborated on in the rest of the series. And now let's go on to some of the stuff that you are probably more interested in. The other pilots. Let's start with, Rei. I don't know where else to start. Compared to Asuka, Rei is very passive. Taking Asuka's insults, which usually, gets some reaction out of someone, and outright ignoring them. As Ritsuko said, she's not very adept at living. It's just abnormal. She takes it. Asuka, she's different than the other two pilots. Her personality is very abrasive, while Shinji and Rei seem to be almost unnaturally complacent. As a basic summary. In all honesty, these episodes are the ones that they're very interesting to watch, but I just don't have much to talk about yet. Within this next week, and by within this next week, I mean before this Sunday, there just might be a chance that there is another SharpZ video on this coming out. Because I want to finally get through these episodes so we can actually start talking about some of the more interesting stuff. Until next time, guys, this is SharpZ signing off. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And check me out on Twitter, Instagram, I don't know what on OG kids are using nowadays. Until next time, peace.